Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on those invisible forces that are constantly shaping what you see online, creating a universe that is built, well, just for you. Let's get right into it. So, have you ever had that kind of weird feeling that the internet knows you maybe a little too well? Like your corner of the web seems perfectly tailor-made for you. Yeah, you're not just imagining it. There's actually a name for that. Researchers call it a whoa moment. Picture this. You're just talking to a friend about something random. You open your phone and boom, there's an ad for that exact thing. It's that startling feeling of being, well, seen. That whoa moment, it's like a tiny crack in the wall, giving you a quick peek inside your own personal information universe. And that universe has a name: the filter bubble. So what exactly is this filter bubble? Well, it's a concept that pretty much exploded onto the scene around 2011, and it really did shake up how we think about our lives online. To put it simply, a filter bubble is your own unique personal ecosystem of information that's been curated for you by algorithms. These systems are looking at everything: your past clicks, where you are, your search history, and then they guess what you want to see next. The result? They can effectively wall you off from things that might challenge you or, just show you something new. And the guy who coined this term was internet activist Eli Pariser. Back in his 2011 book, he sounded the alarm, warning that this invisible, algorithmic editing of the web could have some really massive consequences. And this quote really gets to the heart of what Pariser was worried about. He called it invisible auto-propaganda. Basically, a system that just keeps feeding our own ideas back to us. It creates a world where, like he says, there's nothing to learn. This image shows you exactly what happens. An algorithm decides what it thinks you want to see, and it can steer you into a completely different universe of information than your friend or your neighbor, even if you're both searching for the very same thing. And here's the classic example that really makes this concrete. Pariser asked two of his friends to Google BP right in the middle of that huge oil spill. One of them got results all about investment opportunities. The other, they saw news about the environmental disaster. Same search term, two completely different realities. So that just raises the question, right? How does this even happen? How is this personalized bubble actually being built all around us, often without us even realizing it? Well, Pariser breaks it down into a pretty simple three-step process. First, the platform studies you, figuring out who you are from your clicks. Then, it starts serving you content it thinks you'll like. And finally, it just keeps tweaking the algorithm, making that fit tighter and tighter until your identity is literally shaping the media you consume. And the scale of this is just mind-boggling. Even way back in 2011, Pariser found that Google was using at least 57 different signals, things you don't even control, like what kind of computer you're on or your physical location, just to tailor what you see. 57. Okay, but this is where the story takes a really interesting twist. Because as powerful as this all sounds, there's a huge debate about how much these bubbles actually impact us in the real world. Is it really this all-powerful force, or is it maybe an overblown fear? So researchers and critics started asking a really important question. Can we actually measure this effect? And when they tried to, well, the results were, let's just say they were complicated. So take this test case. During the 2011 revolution in Egypt, Pariser had two friends search for the word Egypt. They got wildly different results. One saw stories about the protests, the other didn't. But then, on the other hand, a journalist named Jacob Weisberg tried to do the same thing with 5 colleagues. Their results? Almost identical. And he concluded the whole idea was overblown. And that contradiction led to a really crucial distinction. And honestly, this might be the most important takeaway here. Are we trapped in a filter bubble created for us by an algorithm, or are we living in an echo chamber, which we kind of build ourselves by choosing to follow people and sources we already agree with? The difference really comes down to this. A bubble is something you are placed in. A chamber is something you choose to enter. In fact, a major study from Facebook found something pretty surprising. Yeah, its algorithm did filter out some diverse content, but our own choices, who we friend, what we click on, had an even bigger effect on limiting what we see. So the takeaway is pretty clear. A lot of the time, we're the main architects of our own little information silos. So if both the algorithms and our own habits are building these walls, what can we actually do about it? Well, the good news is there are definitely ways to fight back and get a much clearer view of the world. For us as individuals, it really just starts with being aware. We can use tools that don't track us, like DuckDuckGo. We can clear our search history. But honestly, the most important thing is to just consciously make an effort to seek out different points of view, using news aggregators or fact checkers to intentionally burst our own bubbles. And the platforms, well, they're starting to feel the pressure to respond. Facebook has invested millions in news integrity. Google is trying to make its search smarter. Some news companies are even building personalized apps that are designed to throw in surprise stories from outside your usual interests. Ultimately, this isn't a problem with a single solution. It's really a shared responsibility. We have to be curious and be willing to step outside of our information comfort zones. And the platforms we use, well, they have a responsibility to design systems that encourage that curiosity instead of shutting it down. Which leaves us with this one last thought. The algorithms are powerful, no doubt about it. They're shaping our reality in ways we're only just starting to understand. But at the end of the day, the power to explore, to question, and to engage with different ideas, that still rests with us. The algorithms may serve up the options, but you get the final click.